Hey y'all, Sassy here, and Wally is joining me, and he's very sleepy. He keeps falling asleep on me. Well, I've been wanting to make this huge Bigfoot, and husband said, well, we have an 8-foot piece of half-inch plywood you could use. It's like, ooh, okay. So I went on rapid resizer and I pulled up my Bigfoot and I typed in there to make it 8 feet tall. Well, to make it proportional, it made it wider than the 4 feet. It's actually over 5 feet wide. And so I didn't want to print off all of those pages because a lot of them would have been white and a lot of them would have been just black. So I took a picture of the gridded Bigfoot with my phone, and then I printed that off and I numbered the grids to coordinate with rapid resizer which ones I needed to print off that were just the outline of Bigfoot. It was still a lot of pieces of paper, and it was quite the chore to figure out where the pieces went because some of them I couldn't see where it designates on rapid resizer, which is the upper left corner of the page. So some of those had black over them. Looking at the gridded picture I had and looking at my picture, I was able to finally put it all together. And then I taped those pieces together and I folded it up and I took it up to the shop. So today I am going to start cutting out, hopefully cut out the entire Bigfoot onto a piece of half-inch plywood, if that's going to be possible. And it's actually bigger than the size of plywood, so I'm going to have to add some to it, which isn't that cool. It's bigger than the size of plywood. It's 8 feet, but it's wider than 4 feet. So I'm excited about that to see how big it's going to look when it's all done. And I'm wearing my coveralls because we went to church this morning and now we're gonna go somewhere later and I don't want to change my clothes and then change them back into my nice clothes. So coveralls, way to go. I pulled out a piece of 1/2 inch plywood and I unfolded the taped together Bigfoot. This thing's gonna be huge. Then I took a piece of carbon paper and I traced the outline of the Bigfoot, moving it behind each piece until I had the whole thing traced. Okay. Woohoo! I cut off the parts that were wider than the plywood, which was 1 hand and the other arm and hand and 1 foot. Then I pulled off all the papers to see the outline. So I'm hoping to use the remnants of what I cut off of this to attach them to where that hand and that arm and that foot go. But if I run out, we have more plywood over there I can use. So now the challenge is to get to cutting it. Woo! I put it up on the workbench and I grabbed the jigsaw. And I started cutting away. I cut out the main shape and then I would go back and add in the tufts of fur. It was surprisingly easy to cut this 1/2 inch plywood. The jigsaw worked great. ended up using both my right hand and my left hand to cut with. I'm not sure why, just because of the angles. Then I took the scraps and I used them to make those overhanging parts. So first I traced them and then cut them out like I did before. Except I used my small bandsaw on some of it. Then I moved it to the floor so I could attach those overhanging parts. The foot, the hand with the arm, and the other hand, and then I fixed one finger. Then I cut some more pieces from more of the scrap to glue those together. I glued them and then I had to use some heavy stuff to hold the pieces down. The plywood isn't real flat. I ended up using my little anvil and some bean bags, my bigger anvil. And then I had Cyclone tackle the other side and she used a heavy storage box and a piece of wood. And then we had to pose for a cheesy picture. And when it was dry, I took those off and I stood him up. And I had to do another cheesy picture. We use this tarp for painting inside since we can't paint outside right now because of weather. And it works great. So I started on the backside painting with an indoor-outdoor paint. Second coat of paint. Then did the same thing on the front side. This was the last coat of paint I had to do, so I was pretty excited about that.
Guys, are we gonna go look for Sassy? Where to put Sassy? Let's go look. Come on.
Okay, we're going to see if we can see where a good place to put Sassy would be. Ah! So, I'm thinking it would be really cool to have him standing like behind some trees. You know, not totally hidden, but just a little bit, not so obvious, right, Wally? Right, Gibby-Loo? What do you think, Beast? Just a good spot? Right here? Looking out that way? I think so. What do you think, Gibby-Loo? So husband drove some fence post into that perfect spot. Then he carried Bigfoot out to the perfect spot, and we attached him to the poles with some zip ties.
Go ahead.
And I spray painted over the zip ties, and the black spray paint doesn't match exactly, but oh well!
There. See, that gives it a little bit of angle too back here, and that
Yeah.
little extra support.
We should go down there and look now.
Now we're at the...
At the close-up.
Okay.
Ah! This is the view from the bottom of the driveway, and we have a Bigfoot sanctuary no hunting sign up. And you can see the Bigfoot way back there in the trees. Ah! Bigfoot is up! Woo! Yeah! I love it! So thanks for joining me, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye!